Hello and welcome to the Audio Apprentice, and hello to all the audio apprentices out there and all the newbies. Like I said in my last video about getting a loud, crisp mix, most rookie engineers completely get trapped by the plugin hype. They swear on internet forums that the new secret sauce plugin will magically save a bad mix, but that's just a straight up delusion. A couple of overpriced flashy plugins won't do anything for you. Mastering the core fundamentals of mixing is what actually saves your track. I was just chatting with another audio apprentice who was going on about the latest plugin he bought. And during that chat, he admits he owns about 200 plugins and he literally does not touch 80% of them. He's hoarding plugins, compressors, EQs, reverbs, delays, and all these boutique toys. But guess what? He just uses the same handful over and over again. He usually grabs the vintage emulations or whatever is fast and easy to tweak. And when I ask him why he keeps wasting cash, he says he sees them trending online, he buys them for one specific feature, and lets them collect digital dust. So the real questions are, how many plugins do you actually need? What plugins should I be running? And why do you even need to buy specific plugins? Coming from an analog world, I learned that your absolute best friend in the digital world is still a solid channel strip that packs a compression, a gate, EQ, all into one interface. I hate dropping brand names, but sometimes you just have to. So look into an SSL, an API, or a Neve channel strip. They have completely different vibes and sounds, and they will dictate to you which one you're going to grab for a session. You can also use the stock standard channel strips that may come with your DAW, or you can make them yourself and save them onto your template. But having one will make your mixes easier. They save you massive amounts of time, cost $0 extra, and do the job that the fancy plugins can do. Running a clean channel strip across your tracks is the closest thing you'll ever get to mixing on a classic analog console. It's more than enough to pull off a top-tier mix. Your DAW should have separate stock compressors and EQs. Those will do the job perfectly. At ground level, where the great mix actually starts, you don't need to buy any fancy plugins. Let's keep this thing real. So many fancy plugins on the market are just standard EQs or compressors wrapped in a pretty futuristic skin to trick you into an impulse buy. You don't need them if you actually learn how to EQ, compress, and gate properly. And if you don't, we have videos explaining all this inside the Audio Apprentice resource. Think about it. An EQ is just an EQ. They all do exactly the same thing: frequency, cut, boost, Q, and high and low pass filters. A transient shaper is just a compressor and a gate working together, but just a bit fancier. Dynamic EQs, literally just an EQ side chain to a compressor. Stereo spreaders, you can achieve this in your DAW without any fancy plugins. Just go into the mastering section of the Audio Apprentice to find out how. And don't fall for this AI hype either. I bought an expensive smart plugin that analyzes your audio to give you custom EQ curves, only to realize it made the same result that I would have done in 10 seconds. Anyway, I always ended up changing the EQ to make it fit the song anyway. Yeah, I know it's easier, but it's best if you know how to shape the sound on your own and get your own sound. And yes, over time, you will develop your own sound. Relying on presets only will never give you a mix that makes anybody suddenly stand up and say, wow, what a great mix. And every time someone loads a preset, they just end up tweaking it anyway to make it fit the track. So why bother using someone else's generic sounds? By just using presets, it will make your mix sound less professional. I know a rookie engineer who was trying to use a saturator as a compressor to tame transients because he had no clue how a compressor actually worked. He was frustrated and getting terrible results. Once he actually watched the compression breakdown video in our resource, his mix has instantly improved. I'm not anti-plugin by any stretch of the imagination. I use them every single day. But you don't need to buy a new plugin every week just to leave it sitting in your library. So what should I get, I hear you say? Well, if you want a streamlined professional toolkit, this is what you should be aiming for. Core compressors, 4 or 5 in total. Grab on each of the old school emulations of the classic range. VCAs like a DBX160X, or a FET, a Universal Audio 1176, and the variable mu like the Fairchild 670. And of course a distressor. That's a great all-around compressor, and probably get this one first and add the others later. Each behaves totally different and excels at specific tasks. Look up the differences in our resource if you need to know more info. Stereo bus compressors can be optional. With modern mastering tools, you honestly might not even need one over your mix output fader, but that's your call. And reverbs, 2 to 3 total. Grab a few different flavors. There are a few free ones online modeled after the vintage hardware, or you can just use what comes with your DAW. Digital delays, again, 1 or 2. Your stock DAW delay is usually a beast anyway. Modulation, a solid chorus, phaser, and flanger plugin. You usually get all of them in just one plugin if you don't have one in your DAW already. You might want to invest in a sound replacer plugin of sorts as well for some jobs. If you're brave enough to master your own tracks, and remember, mastering will never fix a trash mix, you should also grab one-tape emulation for warmth, a saturation plugin for grit, a psychoacoustic enhancer for brightness and perception, a spectrum analyzer to see your frequencies, one output meter, usually to monitor your LUFS and loudness, one stereo spreader. Yes, I said you can do it manually, and I do split the stereo tracks into 3 left, right, and center channels, but adding a dedicated tool here has a great extra utility in mastering. The bottom line, all up, including your channel strip, you only need about 15 or so standalone plugins to mix at pro level. Even better, you can get 25% of these things completely free online. Hopefully this saves your wallet and your mixes. For the newbies, if you want to stop guessing and start engineering properly, go grab a lifetime subscription to the Audio Apprentice website. It literally costs you less than 2 cups of coffee. So thanks for watching. Like and share, subscribe, and peace out for now, and I'll catch you later.